I can compare fractions with the same denominator. First, I want to review how we compare numbers. We use the greater than symbol, less than symbol, and equal sign. A lot of us know the equal sign, and the way I remember the less than symbol is because it's kind of in the shape of a little bit of an L. One thing to remember is not necessarily that this is greater than or less than, is that it's kind of a mouth too that always wants to eat the bigger number. We have 5 is greater than 2, and you can flip that around and say 2 is less than 5, and then you can also say 2 equals 2. Now we want to talk about comparing fractions that have the same denominator. So let's look at these first two fractions. You have 2/4 and 3/4. Both of them make up a whole that is 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. The top fraction has 2 shaded in, the bottom has 3. So if you just look, well, this one has more shaded area. This looks like it's the bigger fraction. If you look at a number line between 0 and 1, you have 1/4, then 2/4, then 3/4. So you can see that 3/4 is closer to 1 and 2/4 is closer to 0, meaning that ultimately one way to write this is that 2/4 is less than 3/4. When you say a number is less than, it means that it's closer to 0 on the number line or further to the left. Further to the right means greater. Further to the left means less, smaller. Let's look at 2/3 and 1/3. Both are made up of wholes that have 1, 2, 3 equal parts. The top one, 2/3, has 2 shaded in. The bottom one, 1/3, only has 1 shaded in. And then on the number line, you have 0 and 1, 1/3, 2/3. Well, here's 1/3 closer to 0. Here's 2/3 closer to 1. So you could say 2/3 is greater than 1/3. It's a pretty straightforward trick to comparing fractions when you have the same numerator. And that's down here on the bottom. It says if the denominator is the same, so you have fourths or you have thirds, just compare the numerators. And whichever numerator is bigger, that's the larger fraction. So the greater numerator, greater fraction, smaller numerator, smaller fraction. What I want you to do now is take a look at these fractions, and in each circle we're going to write greater than, less than, or equal to. I want you to pause the video, try all 3 of these, then hit play and compare what you did and your answer choices to how I solved them. Alright, so let's start at the top here. 1/4 and 3/4. Well, if I were to draw a picture of this, I would have 2 holes that have to be the same size and split them both into fourths. Then I could shade in 1, okay, and then I could shade in 3. Alright, well, it looks like the 3/4 has more shaded in, so that means I want to eat that number, or 1/4 is less than 3/4. 2/8 and 3/8. I'm going to put this one on a number line. We have 1 over here, we have 0 over here, and we have to split it into eighths. Alright, so you'd have 1/8, 2/8 would be here, and then 3/8 would be here. Well, 2/8 is closer to 0, and 3/8 is closer to 1, so 3/8 is greater. That's the one I want to eat. I want to point at 2/8. So I'm using the same symbol. 2/8 is less than 3/8. And for the bottom one, I want to use that strategy of just compare your numerators. So I have 4/6 and 4/6. The denominator is the same, and then I compare 4 and 4. Well, actually 4 equals 4. These are the same fraction. So we would just say equals. Your learning target. I can compare fractions with the same denominator. So I have 2 problems on here for you to try to solve. Just compare them using greater than, less than, or equal to. 1/6 and 4/6, same denominator. Then 3/8 and 2/8.